All right, is Jillian Leigh on the line with us? She has a brand new film. It's called Friends. 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 All right. So, I'm just dying to ask because, we've been saying the title all morning long. What's the premise of this new film you're on?
It's a postmodern romantic comedy about a bunch of friends who F each other.
So, describe your character.
Please.
Laura is having a hard time. She really, really wants to be in a committed relationship like so many of us do, but she's pretty much doing everything she can to not actually be in one.
Smart girl.
I don't know if you've ever had that happen to you.
Now, is Laura a lot like you, or was this hard for you to get to?
I've been watching a lot of the People versus OJ, and I feel like pleading the fifth. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. It's pronounced fizith.
Fair enough.
You know what? I didn't have a hard time understanding where Laura was coming from because I think most young people will tell you these days, like,
we've all been there.
Dating is really tricky.
Sure.
And the lines of what's acceptable and what's like kind of all right to do, it's a little blurry. So Laura was a really fun, interesting character to get into for sure.
It's funny. I'm looking at my list of questions. I didn't really, you guys. I ran in here kind of quick. I'm getting red just looking at because I have to ask this next.
Charley.
I have to ask this next question.
Go for it.
Okay, so on the first day of the filming. You had a really interesting scene. It was with you and two other people, so it was a three-way. Tell me about that.
Well, it wasn't a conversation. Like right now, we're having a three-way conversation.
Right.
That's not what it was. It's interesting how independent film works and how movies work in general. I was really blessed to work with a phenomenal crew and Quincy Rose, who's our director and the writer of the piece. I think that he wanted to sort of get that scene in the can, if you will.
You got it in the can, all right.
It was a moment in the story where three of the main characters spend the night together very intimately. And I wasn't really aware when I was offered the part that was going to be the first thing we were doing, but that is the first thing we did for sure.
Well, you got comfortable with your coworkers real quick, huh?
Yeah.
Real quick. You ever do that?
Yeah.
You ever go to a first day on a job and take all your clothes off?
Absolutely, all the time. I get fired a lot though, so that's.
It's day two that he's always worried about.
What can I tell you? I'm a young actress in Hollywood doing what I can.
You got
help.
You got to work.
We love to ask this, Jillian. How did it all start for you? How did you begin this acting thing?
Oh man, there was never anything else for me. I was 3 in my first play. It was called The Color Wheel, and I think I peaked. Really, I think that was like, I think that was the play of my life. But no, I always enjoyed human condition and characters and people, and I've always been really curious since I was little about what makes people tick and why they are the way they are, and I just studied it as long as I could be thinking, I guess. My mom has some really embarrassing photographs of me reading Shakespeare on the toilet at like 5 years old.
Wow.
So.
More embarrassing than the first scene of the movie?
You say that again?
More embarrassing than your first scene that you shot?
Oh, the first scene wasn't embarrassing. It's a beautiful display of affections. What can I tell you?
Love it.
I'm not embarrassed.
Oh, great. That's actually really good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, they did a beautiful job with the film, and the title is Friends Effing Friends, right? So you think, like, wow, there's a lot of effing going on. But I think what the director did so brilliantly was he really wanted to comment on all the different ways in which you can interact with your friends, if you will. And so even though there's a ton of really beautiful and interesting sex in the film, there's also a lot of relationships, and it gets tricky, so there's something interesting. I mean, it's not porn. There's a reason why we end up in a room together. And I think by the time you get to that point in the film, you want to see everybody sort of, have
So you
time.
didn't just order a pizza?
Right, and then the pizza delivery guy shows up.
Right.
No, it's funny. One of my co-stars who plays Camille, her name is Vanessa Durasso. She is incredible. She's just so on point in this movie. I love her performance so much. And when we had a little screening in Los Angeles, like every time she showed up on camera, everybody was like, woo! Because it just meant like, here it goes, yeah, okay. Like, you know, it feels very much like the pizza guy shows up and everybody's saying it now. My character was, a little less excited every time she got to have sex, but what can I tell you?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you said you started your career at the age of 3?
Yeah, my first play, I was 3.
Yeah, because when you said that, I thought you were going to tell me that your first play was preschoolers effing preschoolers? Or?
Yeah. It was just preschoolers picking boogers. What were we doing?
No,
but, my family's like, I have the best family in the world, man. They've just always been so kind and supportive, and it's just endlessly fascinating to me. I don't know how I'll ever stop.
Now,
that's how you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
You're a writer as well. Tell me about that. Yeah.
Well, I think at a certain point, you read so many other people's words, and then they sort of get all tangled up in your head, and then you start thinking like, well, what stories can I tell? And I'd like to think I'd like to be able to contribute to society in some way that gets people's voices out there that wouldn't otherwise have a platform. And so I write plays, and I'm working on a television pilot, 2 actually. One of them we just shot, and we're in the editing process, which is very interesting. It's about gentrification, and which is not funny, by the way. So it's
that is not a funny topic. Yeah. That's a very serious topic.
But so it's been really interesting, and I love to write. It's very much second nature to me, so it just was sort of a natural progression of things.
If you ever need like a production assistant for any of these things, go ahead and give us a call.
Devin is the ultimate production assistant.
I love it. I hope you're handsome. I love when a handsome man gets me coffee.
He is. He's dashing.
I'm dapper.
Yeah. So Jillian, we are in the political season. Any thoughts on this circus?
Speaking of effing,
yes. I thought it went right. It went it went right with what we're talking about. Any thoughts on breaking news that we saw yesterday afternoon?
I don't have any thoughts on that. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
We're in such an interesting time, and I will say that if you're sitting up and paying attention, you care a lot, and you're going to get out and vote, and you're going to vote for what's important to you.
Awesome, and it is good. It does make good. My writer friends have told me that the characters that we're seeing, I mean, the writing, they're just like writing pages of this stuff. Is that the same with you when you see everything happening in the world?
It's insane. It is insane and so inspiring. But, everybody at every time in history seems to feel like this is the time, this is the craziest it's ever been, these are the most interesting people. In some ways, it seems like, what can I say? I wish it was a little bit more interesting. Is that fair?
All right.
Wow, she's bored. She's bored.
Well, what was the fella's name? Ken Bone.
Oh, yeah, Ken Bone. Ken Bone. That guy's great. He's a classic already.
What a red sweater that fella has on. My
nice.
Goodness.
You think he did it on purpose? Was he like trying to get like a news job maybe, or?
Absolutely not. I think he's just a genius. I think he's sitting back.
I heard the red sweater was actually
300 Instagram followers. I love Ken Bone.
I heard the red sweater was actually Plan B.
Yeah, really?
Really?
Yeah, and what happened was his dress shorts or his dress slacks when he went to put them on ripped from end to end, and so he ended up changing outfits.
His whole outfit, huh?
Yep, that was what I had heard from an interview with him. So there you go.
Gotta love a good wardrobe malfunction.
Well, just to have a red sweater for a Plan B, that's in the game right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Ken, you're just doing your thing. My father's name is Ken, so all these funny little anecdotes that are going on really give me an extra chuckle.
Wow.
Nice.
All right, so...
but, he's a lawyer in Pennsylvania, and I think it is really interesting generationally to see difference of opinions, and I like the idea that everybody keeps an open mind and listens to each other. And I'm like living in a fairy tale land, thinking that's possible. But what can I tell you?
Well, I think it's possible. I think we just right now there's a lot of anger. you know, on both sides, and if we could just momentarily get past that anger and communicate, we could end up in a situation that you're talking about.
And I think the answer might be more friends effing friends.
Yes.
You know, if everybody just got laid more often, my goodness. I mean, they might relax.
The party.
I'm a huge proponent.
There has to be so many edits before this gets to the FM dial.
You are welcome back on this show.
No, but, you know, I hope that your audience goes out and watches the movie because, you know, on a personal level, this was just an amazing amount of work and love and effort, for lack of a better word, in terms of figuring out what it's like to be young and dating in Los Angeles these days. That it's an interesting thing. And what Quincy Rose did that was also so brilliant is, you know, there's no mention of social media. So there's no like Tinder app or, oh, I posted on Instagram. He kept that stuff really out of it. So it's almost like, you know, he's Woody Allen's godson, and so he was heavily influenced by Woody Allen's work, obviously. And this really feels like an updated version of a Woody Allen picture, because you know you can only write from your perspective. And I think that Quincy, being young and bumbling around Hollywood and New York City, really has an interesting and fresh perspective on some of the hilarity that goes with dating when you're that, you know, that confused and that lost in the world. So there's a lot of sex, but it's also quite interesting. So I hope that your audience checks it out. It's Friends Effing Friends Effing Friends. We're on iTunes and Amazon Video.
Oh, perfect. And
awesome.
what's your social media
information? Give a shout out, Jillian,
well,
so we can reach
Leigh.
you. Yeah.
Jillian Leigh, Leigh. That's like Vivian Leigh.
Gotcha.
Or Jennifer Jason. No relation, unfortunately. It's my favorite. But yeah, I'm Jillian Leigh on Facebook. I have a brand new fan page. Thank you so much to my PR team.
Awesome.
And then I'm on Instagram as the Jilly Situation, because there always is one. Although that's private, so you'll have to ask. And that's really it, you know?
Awesome. Jillian, last question. Where are you headed from here? What's any future projects?
Yeah, I'm going to just F all my friends, really. That's my long-term plan. I got some projects in the works, and if you guys check me out, you know, even on Amazon or iTunes, a couple of my other movies are out there. And then, like I said, I'm working on 2 pilots, and we'll see how it goes. Always writing for the theater, and you know, I won the Los Angeles Theater Festival last year with a play I wrote called Love, which I loved. And you know, we had Seth Lee starring in that. He's in The Accountant, which just came out. So if you get a chance to go support, go see Seth. He's a brilliant young actor. Really proud of him. And yeah, it's some interesting things down the line. But yeah, follow me on social media, and I'll tell you what's going on.
Fun. Jillian Leigh on KBeach Mornings on the Beach. Jillian, you have an open seat here anytime, and if you'd love to come in the studio, we might even give you some coffee if you're nice.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I love coffee, but I'm a coffee snob, so you keep that stuff
no?
on.
Okay. We have Starbucks, so
she said snob. She didn't. Yeah, no. That's not going to cut it for her. She needs a real
coffee shop. If my mother's coming with me, you'll have to have Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay.
There is a Dunkin' Donuts down the road.
There is a Dunkin' Donuts. Absolutely.
We got that.
Yes.
I'm a Philly girl. Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, okay. All right.
There we go.
Very
nice.
All
right,
nice.
Gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Jillian
Leigh, on Mornings on the Beach.